Good evening and a very warm welcome to First Issues. You may recall a conversation we had last year with the Minister of Youth, Sport and Culture, Mr. Thapelo Olopeng, after he had spearheaded a slew of youth exemptions that was subsequently passed by Cabinet. Along with the reservation of some tenders and the reduction of certain fees, there were two youth exemptions that were focused solely on open spaces. Firstly, it was stated that youth should be allowed to identify an open space and set up a temporary stall to sell their products for absolutely free. And secondly, 30% of open spaces in towns and cities were to be reserved for permanent use by youth businesses.
Re dumelane gore banana ba lebelele open spaces mo ditoropong le mo semi-urban areas gore ba kgone gore ba di dirise for temporary display of their products and services mo bo free market bo ba kgona gore bo ba ka re 87 departments ba ka itse lona ko ministry gore itse gore di-space di ha kae bana ba kgona go itira di-market tsa bone ka di-weekends and mo gongwe ke gore go na le di-open space gore di tla na le permit on permanent basis so tseo tsone di a go hiwa rona re le ministry be rona be re kgona gore dire maybe go tendering system ya gore nela banana bahi di ka gore se re se batlang go sira le ministry batla gore be re na le lehatsi rona ke rena ba ta rentisang banana lehatsi kana re ba nela re ba dima gore ba kgone go simola dikgwebo.
Coincidentally, we have this year identified two inspiring examples of the creative use of open spaces that exemplify why the measures to avail them to the youth were so important. And tonight we speak to a young man behind one of them. Twenty-six-year-old Salim Kikhodile was born the first of 5 children and grew up in Old Naledi in Gaborone, a community associated with poverty, alcohol abuse, teenage pregnancies, and childhood neglect and malnutrition, amongst a host of other challenges. When our guest looks around his neighborhood, however, he clearly does not see hopelessness and desolation, but potential. He is looking to introduce innovation, leadership, pride, commerce, sustainability, and self-reliance through an initiative he calls Bona Naledi, and change the way we all perceive Old Naledi. Tired of charity and development programs that just provide handouts and then leave, he wants to rather impart marketable skills and resources to his community through an ICT center and other programs, and do so in a way that harnesses the talents, culture, and undertold history of this location. A program by the community, for the community. To fund his vision, he has used an open space in his neighborhood to create a restaurant called Bona Tatso that launched in March this year and will hopefully draw pulas, rands, dollars and more into the community by providing visitors from all over a taste of what the community has to offer, not only food-wise, but with regards to music and other arts going forward. He tells us more about his vision for this enterprise that involves working with disadvantaged and sometimes troubled youth in a location that has no running water and electricity, all while learning the ins and outs of the food industry. What exactly is Bona Tatso?
Bona Tatso is an authentic township cuisine restaurant founded by Bona Naledi, an organization in Old Naledi primarily intending to promote academic excellence, healthy behavior, sports and arts participation, and civic engagement in the community of Old Naledi.
How did you come up with this particular concept? Township cuisine, in the township, recycled materials. Can you tell us how you birthed this idea?
One of the things or the challenges is NGOs in Botswana have a challenge of getting funding. And the other thing is the employment opportunity for our youth in communities. In NGOs, people are employed project-based. So we needed a sustainable program that would have our own youth being engaged fully and having a workshop beyond just the 5-day seminar. A workshop that youth would work the entire year, learning to speak to people through taking orders, working in a restaurant, amongst other things.
So from having the idea to the opening day on the 11th of March this year, take us through the process. How did you find partners? How did you finance this? What were the hurdles along the way? Can you take us through step by step?
It was very challenging because Diacom Marathon and Mascom donated 23,000. And a lot like how other youth would do is they would split the money in half and take their shares. And with me was we could reinvest the 23,000 into something valuable. And that's where Bona Tatso kind of came about. And I remember when the minister did share, he saw the invite and was surprised and wondered how a restaurant in an open space, what is it exactly that this youth are talking about? But when they got to come here and seeing what we did was a total new experience to the Botswana atmosphere, and how a lot of people perceived Old Naledi as a community and seeing what we were capable of doing. It was amazing. And other partners, Bona Trust in the US, who helped us in procuring other restaurant equipment, were very surprised to see young people dedicated to doing things that are out of the odds, because in Botswana mediocrity is kind of something that runs through a lot of us. So we try to be different and very unique and show people that Old Naledi youth are very capable if given a chance.
You mentioned that this has been a new kind of idea for Botswana, where even the minister, you were saying, didn't really grasp what the concept was until he got here. How receptive have Botswana been? Would you say Bona Tatso has been a success? Has it met your expectations?
Yes. With me as the founder, a success to me is being able to do something. And we have done something. Now it's a learning process where we see how we could kind of meet the demand that we created. One of the challenges that we kind of seen is we had no funds, and most of the time is we'd have a lot of customers that come in and they don't find the food that they came here for, and most of the time is we don't have electricity and water, and sometimes that's kind of something that kills the business altogether. But we're working in partnership with the ministry to make Bona Tatso an ideal model. The Ministry of Youth, Sports and Culture has came in to support us, and we're making Bona Tatso an ideal model that could now be replicated in other areas of Botswana. So it's a success in that. Bona Tatso will be employing 80 youth plus, which is something that every other Botswana has been complaining about of job creation. And Bona Tatso is one of those unique concepts that would not only engage youth but also generate income for communities through the restaurant.
Welcome back to First Issues as we continue to speak to social activist Salim Kihudile about his innovative Bona Tatso restaurant in Old Naledi that seeks to empower the community by imparting work skills as well as economic activity to this area. What exactly are you? Can you tell us this plan in greater detail? What would you like? Where would you like to take Bona Tatso to from here?
Like I say, or I call myself, Salim is my birth name, and I made acronyms out of it. Smart, adorable, leader of inspirational material. One of the greater things that I always want to see is developing things that inspire youth, motivate youth, and also create things that they would also be able to become. Because one of the things that we always leave out is helping our youth to become. We go to them with workshops, we go to them with concepts, but we fail to help them become. Every other person has potential, but we fail to help them become. So with Bona Tatso is a concept that even now when a community wants to create a workshop, they have an area where they have their workshop at. They have people that would cater for them. So Old Naledi or Bona Tatso concept will not only be that a restaurant in a community, but it's a program helping in many more ways than one.
What types of experiences? You truly are a social activist, I can see. But for your customers or potential customers out there going forward, what kind of experiences specifically can they look forward to when they come to Bona Tatso in future or even now?
One of the things is you'd have the same tamati sauce and mayonnaise from bogologolo. One of the other concepts or other things that we are trying to integrate is on daily basis we'd have your Mafitla Khosi, our popular traditional dance group that we'll see how to engage them in Bona Tatso. We'd have marimba poets, Bona Tatso. We are trying to see a lot of concepts that are coming in, but also not trying to draw out the food concept, because one thing that we want to be known of is best cooked food in a Kasi Momolo.
What type of food are we talking about? I'm a foodie. I'd like to know.
On a good Thursday, a throwback Thursday, you'll find our bohobe bale rotse. There was a day when we had Meomungo from Bokalaka who cooked dobi. Dobi ke morogo takantswele manoko, and a lot of people enjoyed that. So those are the kind of experiences that will also bring people from different cultures to kind of bring things to our menu. So you always know what to get, but we bring in different things that people would be caught by surprise and enjoy.
You have said setting this up, you're still learning as you go along, and I don't think running a restaurant is something that somebody masters overnight. But is there any one lesson you would have really rather avoided, something you wish you knew from the outset that could have spared you a lot of stress?
One of the things is we could have worked so much on customer service. My experience as a social activist is, irregardless of how a person is, there are always ways to help that person become. And we worked with the green team, people who came from that background challenges, and we threw them in a den and felt they would grow with the process. And you find that most of the customers that we lost felt that our service was poor, not understanding our concept, that we're working with youth who have went through a lot of challenges, and we're helping them to become through this behavior change program, Bona Tatso. And that has kind of costed us business, but in another way, it has helped me as a visionary to see young people who a lot of people didn't have hope in becoming.
Welcome back to the program. As in this segment, as we have done with other countries from near and far, we discuss the business opportunities and practices to be found in Ghana with the help of a professional born and raised there. An oil boom helped fuel 5 years of GDP growth above 8%, making Ghana a model for African growth. The World Bank Doing Business Report 2014 labeled it the best place for doing business in the ECOWAS region. Pauline Antwi, who is trained as a home economics teacher but currently owns and manages a Ma-Africa hair salon in Gaborone, joins us now to tell us if what we read about Ghanaians' inclinations towards keeping African time but being extremely hospitable among other things is to be believed. She has lived in Botswana for the past 27 years and is now a citizen. But as an entrepreneur has a valuable insight in what it takes to set up and operate a business in her country of origin. In my research, I was told that Ghanaians are very hospitable, that even turning down an offer, maybe to come eat at somebody's home, can be considered an insult. How can I best network, would you say, maybe as an entrepreneur going there to look for investment opportunities or set up a business?
Well, I believe before you go there, you would have done a bit of marketing or research or survey to find out more about the business that you want to go and set up in Ghana. And when you get there, there are people, I'm sure by now through your, the media, I would say, You would have contacted someone who is going to lead you, probably even meet you at the airport, take you to your hotel, or can even accommodate you. And then you start from there. You know, how you can register your company, the rules in Ghana, and so many other things, any information that you need.
That is very good to know. With regards to the business opportunities or areas of growth that you personally know about in your country of origin, what would you say those are? And which ones would you say are more competitive and one would expect to struggle to break into?
Well, that one I will start with something like setting up a business like a salon. Very, very competitive, because if you go to Ghana, you don't find big establishments like mine here. There are smaller kiosks outside, just by the roadside, and they are going to give you the best, in fact, because when they are trained, usually those who haven't performed well to go to tertiary institutions, they go to learn carpentry, hairdressing, all practical things, so that they are able to start their own businesses. And when you are trained or you are being trained, it's not like Botswana. Botswana, when someone comes to be trained, you have to pay that person who is under training. In Ghana, it's the opposite. Before you go, you have to pay a lot of money to the person who is going to train you, and you are going to work for free. Day one, they are teaching you how to do washing of hair. Whatever you do, you are not paid for it. You plait slowly right from the back. You know, if it's singles, they will teach you. So it's not something like you're going to do theory and you start the practical day one that you get it. So in 3 years' time, the person would have been well equipped with whatever that he went there to learn. And from there, you have to pay again to finish, and there are certain rituals that you perform. And they may be party, and then they go away. This group of people who have been trained will go and open their businesses, like if it's a salon, for instance. More people will come, like people will come from Mahalape, from the villages, to come to Habroni to learn such skills. And when they go back, they are going to also, people, the family members, let's say the parents will take their kids to go and learn that trade. So she will also get about 10 people to be trained. In 3 years' time, they will be equipped, they move. That's how we work in Ghana. That is why whatever they do it well. You know, so whether you are plaiting on the streets or wherever, it's the best, because they are qualified. They've been trained continuously for 3 years or more, you know. So before you leave, even you have to actually do the practicals. After you have finished, your master can tell you, you are going to work with me for 6 months, because they want more people to come and learn the trade. And so when you go out and you don't do well, you're going to destroy their business. So that's how it works. So therefore, we don't have, of course, there's unemployment, but a lot of people are self-employed and they get a lot of money. You don't need, and even in Ghana, it's not like Botswana. Botswana, the government has got different, how do I put it, financial assistance, where youth are given sums of money to start their own businesses. In Ghana, we don't have anything like that. If you finish your hairdressing, you have to work hard at home, like I'm saying, roadside, even at home, until you raise enough money to buy your basic things to start your business, you know. So there in Ghana, you really have to work very hard to earn whatever that you want in life.
You said there are some areas, though, that somebody could maybe look into growing into nowadays in Ghana, that are less competitive than maybe the hair and salon businesses.
Yeah, like tourism, because I know Botswana, they are good when it comes to those things. Or maybe I'm not sure of my facts, but I know how they do things. They do everything properly. You know, if they could go and investigate, because my own place where I come from, inland, we have beautiful things there, like the waterfalls, you know, where the slave trade centers, but they are just there. They don't know what to do. And I don't know how I can help. My children are interested. They always want to go and start. And it's difficult sometimes because the chief will probably expect something from you to utilize those things, So I would say more of, tourism. Also computing, I would say, is international. And the youth are interested. Well, if they want to go and sell also, that's fine. Because it depends, again, on the quality. And, So they could also establish schools in Ghana. Right now we have so many universities, so many schools, but there are a lot of people. The population is big, to about 25 million people. And when it comes to like taxes, they will allow you to repatriate all the money that you have invested in Ghana before you start paying taxes. And I was surprised because in Botswana it doesn't work like that. Yes, once you start, you should start immediately paying your taxes. But then I learned, especially with manufacturing companies, for 8 years, you'll be exempted from paying taxes. But then they will say you have to export about 70% of your product, because it should be continuous so that you employ the local people, more people.
You have been very descriptive. Thank you so much. But finally, I'd just like to know, what do you tell people coming to Botswana for the first time? What to expect with regards to our business and cultural practices, as well as our openness to outside investment?
Well, first of all, I would tell them to get everything set. Like I mentioned earlier on, you should follow the rules in Botswana. Wherever you go, you have to follow the rules. Registering your company, bringing in your money, and then also putting up your best, the behavior. Because there are people who will come with the intention of doing something, but not really. They don't come with, they have other hidden agendas.
What's the number one thing? Your salon has been operating for about 12 years now?
Yeah.
That you've learned about operating a business as a Ghanaian in Botswana. What was the biggest lesson I think you would say you learned?
I would say that Botswana like quality service. They appreciate it. When they come, I welcome them. And then all the workers, they are trained to welcome their clients, greet them, give them a seat while they are still even explaining what they are here for. And when you come from outside as a manager, what do? I have to go and greet them, to welcome them. You are welcome. And when they are leaving, I say, thank you. Please come again.
We now present the winning comment based on our show on the Business Botswana National Conference, as well as the Botswana Railway's new sleeper coaches from last week. Mudiri Mohomuti texted in to say that the Business Botswana National Conference is beyond just a talk shop, and that having been present at this year's Francistown session, he learned about the importance of investing in local projects to counteract the lack of participation by other players. You could be the next winner of some First Issues goodies. Share your comments via Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, or SMS. You can also help us make First Issues better by contributing to the ongoing Facebook poll. Until next week, we wish you safe and enjoyable Independence holidays. Happy birthday, Botswana, from the entire First Issues team. May we continue to grow together as a country in the coming decades, united and proud.